Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of To The Max Outdoors. Here we are. We are in a beautiful trout stream here in West Virginia on November the 12th. I had to look at my phone there to see what the date was. The purpose of today's video is to do a little testing here. We got ourselves a pair of New View hunting boots. As I just showed you there, you're on a chest rig, so I'm trying to show you the best I can. We're going to wear these boots for the majority of the day. I'll do some check-ins here as we're fishing, and I'll let you know how they do in a little bit of the water and a little bit of the muck that the river here has to provide for us. This is not a review of us hunting. This is a review of us using them for fishing. That's what I do a lot with the with this style of boot. I like to wear them when I'm fishing, just simply because this water's too low and waders really aren't practical, or aren't needed, I should say, for this style of fishing. So my 2-day review here is going to be these boots on the water. And like I said, we'll do some periodic check-in, and then here at the very end of the video we'll do a set down in the house and I'll go over the details and all that good stuff. But I do just want to show you that I am wearing them here for the next couple days on this river. As you can see in front of us, beautiful trout stream here in West Virginia in the fall. This is probably one of my bigger passions is trout fishing. So I'm going to wear these boots and I'm going to give you an honest review here at the end. So stay tuned. I'll plug some fishing clips in, and I'll plug some reviews in about the boots, about what I do and what I don't like about them. So stay tuned. Here we go. We'll get us a little water test here. I got the camera on my chest here. We're walking. You see the boots there. I'm up over the rubber part. Yeah, not a very good camera angle, but I'm up over the rubber. I'm up into the neoprene part of it. I'm high and dry. I've been standing in the water for 30-40 minutes. I'm still high and dry. So there's +1. So I'm gonna do the final in-use review. This is day 2 of me wearing these New View boots here, and as you can see here on the terrain, you know, I'm following the riverbank along. Obviously, you know, I'm walking through this kind of terrain and this kind of rocks and whatnot. And I'll tell you, being day 2 in these boots, it's not too bad. Yesterday I had right around 5.5 hours in them. We got a truck coming down the road. Anyways, as I was saying, yesterday I had about 5.5 hours in these boots, you know, walking across this kind of rocky terrain here, and my feet weren't sore. They gripped pretty well. You know, they got an aggressive tread on the bottom of them that we'll cover more in the in-person interview, but I just wanted to give you a look here at what I'm doing. Like I said, I've been in water. I've been in water almost up to the top of them. My feet have stayed dry. My feet have stayed warm. It's currently 31 degrees right now. I've been in and out of the water, and all good so far. So I'll pick you back up here on the in-person review there in the house, and we'll get our final thoughts on it. All right, everyone. So we've made it back home. We're down here in my little man cave utility, my little man cave / utility room. It's where the wife has cornered me in the house, but anyways, we're here to talk about these New View hunting boots. They're advertised as a hunting boot. They're rubber and neoprene. And as you've seen there, I did a little unorthodox review of them. That's my style. When the water's really low like that, whether it's early spring, late spring, early summer, or into the fall, here in West Virginia, our water conditions on our trout streams are fairly low. So I'm typically wearing a style of boot like this to access the rivers that I normally fish, because waders aren't necessary the majority of the time, especially when the water's really low. That's just my style. So I know it's a little unorthodox review, and I know New View Hunting is advertising these as hunting boots. I fully understand that, but this review is practical to what I used them for. That's what they sent them to me for. They sent them to me to do a review on them. And that's what my style, that's what my style of fishing, that's what I use for. So that's the kind of review I'm giving you. So we'll start here by saying that, I had these boots on for 2 days. In the video, I told you I had 5.5 hours in them in one day, and the next day I had right around 4, just shy of 4 hours. So for review purposes, I'm gonna say I had 8 total hours in these boots in 2 days. As you've seen there in the river, I was walking, in the water somewhere into this neighborhood. I try not to go to the top because when you're walking in the water, it splashes, this, that, and the other. So I try to keep myself 3/4 calf or not, and never had one leak. Never had a wet spot on my jeans that was tucked in them, or my socks, or anything like that. Now I will say, the outside temperature the 2 days I was fishing, it was 47 the first day, and then it was 31 to 51 the second day. So the average water temperature according to the USGS was 48.7. So you can get right on the USGS website, tells you the average water temperature. Now I will tell you that specific river that I was on, that water gauge is way downstream, and I'm closer to where that river comes out of the mountain, so the water is a tad bit colder. The only thing I had on the sock that I had on was an Under Armour dry fit cold gear sock. So it was a little bit thicker of a sock, and it's an active sock, and it goes up my calf. I like to try to wear a sock that's just a tad bit higher than my boot, just so I don't get any rubbing purposes, and I never had any of that with these new View boots. So that's one big plus. Now they do have just a standard insole in them, and they have a semi-soft footbed. I know you can't see my hand, but my hand's going in there on the footbed. They have a semi-soft footbed in them. Now I have a pretty flat foot. I don't have a whole lot of arch in my foot, so a lot of times a boot with a lot of arch in it causes me some discomfort at the end of the day. These boots did not have that, and they have what I'm going to call a medium arch in the foot. So they were good for me those 2 days. I never had a complaint. I didn't have any sore feet, didn't have sore arches or anything of that matter. So really happy about that. We'll move on down here to the tread. As you can see here on the tread, it's got a super aggressive tread. It's got a nice arch in it here where it allows flexibility. So this boot is what I'm going to call semi-flexible. It's not stiff like a stiff hunting boot. It's not as flexible as a tennis shoe. So nice, happy, middle of the road flexibility to it. As you've seen there in the video, I tried to show you the rocks and stuff. You're trying to grip on a rock, or you hit a rock, you're up and down, you're walking on basketball size to baseball size to volleyball size boulders. Really happy with how they performed there. And as far as the tread goes, that river that I'm fishing has what they call Didymo, rock snot on. Anybody that's, I'm going to say East Coast because I don't know the West Coast, but anybody that's an East Coast trout fisherman, steelhead fisherman, salmon, brown trout, Pennsylvania through New York, if you're chasing through a lot of those streams, you know what Didymo is. It's rock snot. That's just what we call it. Obviously nothing as good as a set of metal studded boots, but I really never had a problem with the rock snot in the river that I was fishing. Now, you got to be cautious when you're walking across it. Anybody that's ever been in it, you know what I'm talking about. But I felt like these boots did a really good job of keeping my footing sure. They're a fairly wide boot. They're not overly wide where you're clumsy walking with them, but they're wide enough to provide a nice stable footprint when you step down. I was really happy with them. I had my doubts about them in the beginning. Rubber boots and that rock snot usually just don't go together, but I was really impressed with how these performed and how they performed. They got like some, I'm going to call them outside digger claws here on them. They help grab a hold of the rock, and they did their job. So another couple features here I like that I really run into with a lot of rubber boots or a neoprene style boot is the seams that's on the back and the seam that's on the front. Typically that's the first place they bust. I have a bigger calf, so my calf will fill up the entire boot, the entire calf section of the boot. So when I'm walking, I'm constantly flexing the back and the front of the boot, and I'm almost always when they crack on me, they'll crack right around here. They'll crack right in the front. It's usually where the two materials transition together. But I will say, NuView has put a full-length reinforcement strap all the way under the rubber, and then it comes out of the neoprene. And the same way on the back, all the way down the neoprene, over top of the first layer of rubber, and then under the heel guard part of this rubber here, where it goes down into the heel toe click push off thing. That's a nice aid to get them off. But I do like the fact that that's one consistent solid piece. In my mind, that's going to add to the longevity of this boot. Like I said, in my 30 years of fishing, it seems like when I blow a boot out, it's at the material transition. So I'm happy to see that they did that. There's no seams on the inside either, so this neoprene section, it blends all the way down into the footbed, so there's nothing rubbing on your leg on the inside either. It's smooth on the inside. There's no transition pieces on the insides other than the front seam and the back seam. And those just don't affect me. You know, they're in my pants or on my socks, so they don't affect me. But I do like the fact that there's smooth transition on the inside. So big plus there. Another pretty neat feature, if you can see here, I'll try to get the light right. The toes reinforced on them. Like I said, 8.5, 9 hours in these boots. I'm not getting any disbonding here from where the shoe is welded, where the sole is welded to the boot. I'm good and tight all through there. I'm overall pretty happy with these boots. Like I said, NuView Hunting is advertising them as a hunting boot. I'm not a guy that wears this style of boot into a climber or a hang-on stand or a saddle style hunting. I like a more flexible boot. That's just my own personal preference, but we are approaching rifle season here in West Virginia. I will get these on more rifle hunting. I'll do some longer walks in them, and obviously I'll give you another review of them there if you want to see another review of a more long-term review. But all in all, I recommend that you keep watching NuView Hunting. This is a good boot for what you just watched me use it. The small clips there I was fishing. I was happy with it. Like I said, the average water temperature there being in the mid-high 40s, I never really got cold. Obviously never got wet at all, or I'd tell you that. So I'm going to keep wearing these boots. I appreciate NuView Hunting sending them to me. They've been a good quality boot so far. So I'm really happy, and be a good Christmas present for somebody. So thank you for watching To The Max Outdoors.